Hey, nerds.
What's up?
It was pitch black outside when I awoke. Oh, man, this is super weird. So, there's no way I can explain this to y'all, but right now on the screen Vivi and I are looking at, all we can see is pitch black with a couple of points of light for stars. The recording shows a much, still dark, but much brighter outline of a window, and absolutely none of those stars are visible in that.
That's really weird.
That's really weird. That's so. I wonder how it'll come out in the recording. That's great. It was pitch black outside when I awoke. Little dashes of snow were very visible every now and then in the moonlight, but that was all I could see. No dreams. No escape. Well, now, if you're feeling restless, I can think of something you could do. There's nobody who would have me now. You'll hate me. Okay, well, that's not true either. Right? Right? Like, I think if you sat down and had, like, if that was truly your priority in this moment, I think if you sat down and had a conversation with Adela and explained where things had stood with Angela, and that, like, that's not the case anymore and you were still open to it, I think Adela would come around to it. And I think most of the other people, yeah, you maybe alienated Darcy. But I don't think it's the case that they all hate you, right? Right? That's not even... I don't even think Darcy hates you. I think Darcy is sad, and Darcy wants to be your friend again. Let them hate you. You don't need someone to touch you to feel alive. What are you suggesting? You know exactly what I am suggesting. It's freezing cold. And wouldn't that just feel magical? Overwhelming? A chill more piercing than any partner could be. I made a very convincing argument. I stripped naked quickly and wrapped the Superior's heavy cloak around myself. As soon as I stepped out toward the door, I heard a sound. Catherine's door. So, then, whatever the Superior had told her, Catherine had at least been allowed to return to her room. That stood to reason, I supposed. If Angela had indeed betrayed me and convinced the Superior to give Catherine up, she would still need to wait until morning to leave, and she would have to pack her things. Gingerly, I stepped into the dorm hall. The fireplace glowed faintly, embers providing the barest amount of heat. I caught the barest glimpse of a cloak disappearing into the darkness ahead of me. Where was Catherine going? That's... Okay, so again, I feel like maybe we point out we've made a couple of logical leaps here.
Might not be Catherine.
Right, I trust that Hedwig heard Catherine's door. Right? I think we can trust that she's been there enough, she knows which doors are which. I don't have a problem buying that. Just because we heard Catherine's door open or shut doesn't mean that the person now, the cloak she sees, has to be Catherine, right? That doesn't follow. It could be that Catherine just returned to her room and someone else is leaving. It could be Catherine just poked her head out the door to see what was up and closed it and went back inside, and someone else is doing business, right? It's not a bad starting assumption, but it shouldn't be taken for granted. Everyone would have been roused if the others had returned with news. I followed as quietly as I could. I watched as she tested the library door. It opened for her and she slipped inside. Deftly as I could, I made to catch up behind her before the door swung shut. She made her way toward the sacristy door and passed through it. Some people had all the luck with locks. I dared not follow her inside such a small room, but I managed to catch the door before it closed. Oh, one thing we did talk about after last episode ended was that if indeed Catherine with a K is the one blamed for a lot of the deaths that we know will happen, she just got motive.
Yeah.
Right?
It also means she can't die here, right?
It means she can't die. Well,
she can't, and she can't get sent off with the bishop tomorrow morning unless everybody dies tonight, which seems unlikely.
Seems unlikely that because Volume 3 hasn't happened
yet.
For
her to be blamed for the killings, they have to happen when she could be blamed for them, which means that she's gonna still be around.
Right. So either the future is either that detail is forgotten in the future and big things are missed, or yeah, she has to still be here in a little while if she's going to be the one blamed for all that. Or maybe she leaves and everyone assumes that after people start dying that it's her coming back to pick them off out of anger or something.
I don't know. I feel like she leaves isn't an option.
Yeah?
Like, I don't think anyone's proposed she walk away. Indeed.
Well, we don't know what the soup has in mind for her, but now that... Well, actually, no, we do have a good idea. Remember what the soup's aims are here. No matter what, she needs someone to hand over to the diocese. James is gone. She has all of the motivation in the world right now to use the low-hanging fruit handed to her and hand over Catherine. In order, in her mind, to restore order. I think it's absolutely plausible that she's going to be handed over.
Right, so that's very different than walking away, right?
Yeah, sorry.
I don't think there is a world where Catherine leaves of her own free will.
Got it.
And given that, it would seem
yes.
hard to believe that she could be the killer if she indeed gets shipped off.
Unless by Shonen Richard is in on it.
Richard the Treacherous.
Bishy Rich. Huh? What? What? Oh, right, that's in there now.
The painting.
I peeked through the crack, too curious to give it up. Through the darkness, I could just barely make out the painting. Was she going to destroy it before she left? Catherine stepped in front of the painting, preventing me from seeing what she was doing. Whatever it did not take her long. Realizing that she was about to turn and leave, I scampered away and hid behind Eustace's old desk. I listened and waited for her to pass. Her footsteps stopped as she passed the threshold to the hall. I could hear something. Sobs? Finally, the door closed. At last she had left, and I was free to inspect the sacristy. I crept toward the painting. At first it was hard to see anything different about it at all, but finally I spotted it. The beauty mark. I had been wondering about that. And I don't know. I had noticed it and I was like, is that just... Are they just omitting it to make a thing? But that's fascinating. That's what she feels the most strongly about, right? A small dot on the cheek. Slowly, I began to piece together a few things. 1, if this had been planned as a surprise for Catherine, then it's no wonder Flora had needed her friend's help to sneak around. If the original artist hadn't gotten around to painting this, mole, or whatever it was, stood to reason that Flora might miss it as well. I had been intimately close to Catherine's face many times, and it would still take me a moment to realize what had been added. There are some details about people that we just get used to, I suppose. Things we understand are a part of a person, but don't stand out. Or perhaps both Flora and I suffered from a lack of general awareness. Neither of us were fit to be responsible for anything. Why had she done it? Why had those fools flung themselves down a hill? I sighed and left the library. It was not time to dwell on such things. It was time to indulge. I might never get the chance to do it again, I told myself. The hallway sconces were still lit as well. Is That So? Is the name of the track. Nobody had snuffed them out yet. Flora was still out there, it would seem. That is interesting that the sconces are still lit. The stone floor was so cold to the touch that my feet felt numb. Oh, an eyeball just appeared.
Yep.
I was like, wait, why did the scene change? It looks exactly that. Nope, eyeball.
Yep.
I could not stand still for too long. Inhaling sharply, I made my way out to the second floor landing. One lap around the Abbey couldn't hurt, right? My dreams wouldn't thrill me. I would have to satisfy myself another way. I felt woefully entitled to a bit of pleasure. About halfway down the stairs to the cloister, I started to have second thoughts. It really was cold, after all. My skin felt taut, but I could see my breath in front of me. When I reached the cloister, my legs were shaking, knees weak, arms spaghetti. I had rubbed my hands together and moved briskly. I was shivering, but I was at the very least feeling somewhat satisfied. The discomfort added to the sense of excitement. At the very least, suffering of the cold was more exhilarating than my empty dream had been. As I approached the superior's office, I felt both fear and amusement. What if she opened that door? I feel like if they catch you another time with no plausible deniability, with not even like a something that they know is a lie but can at least believe, right? Mm-hmm. Then it's just, no, you're done, Hetty. You're done. The pressure built as I drew closer and closer. It wasn't likely, but it was possible. And even the smallest possibility excited me when the stakes were so high. I broke away to the left into the cellar stairwell. I couldn't help but giggle. Something moved in the corner of my eye, and I put my head around and pulled the cloak around myself tightly. I squinted into the dark. See, now if she was really committed to it, she wouldn't have the cloak at all, right? Because part of the risk is that you have to get back to where your clothes are after you're done, and that you can't cut it short. If you got the cloak with you, you could just wrap it around you, right? and then it's all over. You have an easy out. Part of the enjoyment of the risk is not having the easy out, Hetty. What? Are we not agreeing with me on this? I could have sworn I had caught a glimpse of motion, but perhaps a figure moving on the other side of the cloister. I squinted through the darkness, but the only thing I could see was the occasional flash of falling snow. That must have been what it was. With a sigh of relief, I moved downward into the cellar. I was feeling peckish. I flew down the stairs and immediately regretted my decision. This was much too dark. There were no sconces here. I was walking into thick, terrible nothingness. It gave me the same sense of unease that the library's shifting shelves did. I turned around to head back up into the cloister and screamed. Ah! Someone was standing at the top of the stairs. I did not have time to make out who or what it was. I turned around and ran straight into the darkness. I ducked and weaved between barrels as best I could, holding my hands out in front of me to try and navigate the maze. After a while, I slowed to catch my breath. Who was that? Had they recognized me? Had they followed me? I crouched low and listened, trying my hardest to breathe quietly. For a while, there was nothing. I calmed my breathing down, and raw fear was supplanted with slight embarrassment. Perhaps the superior had opened her door after all. Oh no. Had she found me out? Hedwig, most people have found you out.
Hedwig?
Oh God, I thought to myself. The bishop had seen me in all my glory. Or the bishop is down here doing something sus. I'd be leaving with Eustace then. Excommunicated most certainly. Sent to a workhouse very likely. Defeated thoughts such as these bounced around my skull until the bishop spoke once more.
Sister Hedwig, is that you? I was about to come looking for you as it is. You aren't in any trouble?
What do you need? Only I'm afraid I'm in a state of undress. It's on my way to the latrine.
Never mind all that. I don't care about... I shan't look. Listen, we've gotten used to it. I promise.
Wasn't as if I stood a choice in the matter. I emerged from the barrels I was hiding behind and pulled the cloak around me as best as I could.
Good. Come along quickly now. I require your assistance with something gravely important.
He looked harrowed. Before I could protest, he was up off the cellar stairs.
Is this where we find out what his real angle in all this is?
Maybe.
We've
I'm
been
interested.
kind of sus on him for a while, right? And it's been... I don't think I've had a motive yet, which has been really bothering me, so... Before I could protest, he was off up the cellar stairs. So we approached the superior's office and noticed the door was still open. Did something happen?
Yes.
We continued toward the office. My heart was beating so hard that I could barely hear anything else. When we approached the door, he ushered me inside first. It was nearly pitch black inside the room, save for a small candle on the superior's desk.
Oh, is Soup dead?
We entered the room and the bishop closed the door behind us.
Ah, Hedwig. Thank goodness you're here.
It was so dark I couldn't make out her shape. As the candle flickered, her face and hands were illuminated just for a moment.
Thank you for collecting her so quickly, Richard.
What is wrong?
Nothing's wrong, Hedwig. You've done very well to come when called. He tells me that as long as you're here, no other harm will come to Linbarrow.
Who?
The devil, Hedwig.
What the fuck? And I said a monster, and you were like, oh, poo-hoo. The devil. So this is the second time we've heard mention of a devil-like figure, right?
Yep.
The other one being that princely fellow, the devil, who the sleight of frame princely fellow, who came to, and who we kind of maybe might suspect might be Moira.
Yep.
Right?
Is someone behind Soup?
Is someone behind
Or
Soup?
is that just Shadow?
It's
I
very
can't
hard
tell.
to. This is another one where it's kind of hard for us to see. It because I'm looking at the recording version of it right now, and you can see the face more clearly. What we can see right now is 2 points of white eyes in the dark, and that is it.
Nothing else.
And nothing else. So if you're seeing more detail than we are, it looks like that might be is her chair, maybe, or someone behind her. Maybe it's hard to tell.
We gotta adjust the color balance on this monitor or something. This is brutal.
The candle flickered again, and I saw the blade waiting behind the superior.
Okay, so I was right. There is someone waiting behind the superior, and we just literally can't see it on the main monitor.
That is correct. She is wearing her white nightgown, but also there is something to be said for kind of like the stark nothingness of just the flashes of white against black. It looks so cool. It looks like a black metal album cover. No!
Richard,
The sword plunged down into her back. I tried to run, but the bishop was already holding my arms behind my back. Let go! Let go of me! Superior's lifeless face swung down and cracked against her desk. The candle bounced and rolled toward a stack of papers. They caught quickly, and the room was soon illuminated in flickering firelight.
So this is interesting. I did not call the Soup being the one to die.
No! We knew she died, but I didn't think it was going to be just yet.
Yeah.
The beast strode toward me, blade flashing. As I came around the desk, it dipped the sword into the rising flames, and the glistening blade was soon lit. I could feel the heat rising as the monster approached, and the music became metal?
You said it looked like a metal album cover.
I did. This is very like black metal tremolo picking, right?
Yeah.
I struggled against the bishop's grip. As the beast prepared to strike, I finally dislodged myself after some stomping down on his bare foot. He howled and let me go. I fell to the floor and began scrambling all around the room on all fours with no real goal, no real direction.
Window.
Huh?
Window.
I just had to move and keep moving.
Window.
I heard the door open behind me. No doubt the bishop was taking the opportunity to escape alone. Really? It seemed like he was holding you. Okay, so let's... The bishop was holding her, which meant he probably also meant for her to die here.
I mean, sure doesn't seem like the superior, for example, was stoked to go along with this and also got killed immediately after complying with the demand here.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it was the same with the bishop, like, oh shit, I'm going to die if I don't get Hedwig here. I'm going to fulfill my end of the bargain.
Given that we've already been sus of the bishop's motives, I wonder if he is in league with this devil figure, with this prince, right? Because, again, we've noted there have been several weird actions of his, like really turning up to defend some of Hedwig's more ludicrous claims, right?
Mm.
The beast was distracted for just a moment. I took the opportunity to rise to my feet in an attempt to break the window behind the superior's desk. But try as I might, I could not shatter it with my bare hands. But I could sense the monster closing in on me from behind. I ducked to the side, and the sword collided with the window. There was an ear-splitting screech as the tip scraped along the surface before the whole thing popped. My assailant staggered forward, and I ran around the room again. If I couldn't leap through the window, I would try the door. The creature howled in anger and barged after me, pinning me to the door from behind. I screamed and dropped to the floor, a dead weight, hoping to set the beast off balance. Its grip loosened, and it steadied itself against the door with its free hand. It began jabbing the sword down at the floor wildly as I slipped between its legs and into the center of the room again, desperate to find something to fight back with. The window was out of the question now. The shards of glass that remained were so jagged I would assuredly spill my guts into the hedge if I tried. I scampered around the burning room in a daze on the lookout for something I could defend myself with, something I could use to drive the creature away from the door. As I hurried past the desk once more, I noticed my old workbook resting on the desk next to the superior's head. The beast lurched forward, and I picked up the book and held it open almost reflexively. The dense pages provided just enough resistance against the monster's desperate, glancing swing. I stumbled backwards and dropped the two halves of the book into the floor.
The pen really is mightier than the sword.
No, but she's... So, I mean...
It worked.
I mean, yeah, it worked. But also, like, it's one of the things where, like, yeah, you get enough paper one place and it is thick and hard to move through, right? And it's... I don't think the blade they're using is one that's been meticulously sharpened to a fine point, right?
I saw a good YouTube video of how many reams of normal printer paper it takes to stop various bullets.
Yep.
And the answer is always dramatically less paper than you would think.
Exactly. It's why like you can't rip a phone book in half, right? And it's that kind. It's you get a lot of them in one place like that. It's a little dramatic, sure, but I don't mind believing it in this case. My notes had come in handy after all, it seemed. However, the book would not be able to defend me a second time. There was one single hope I could cling to. That the blade the monster was wielding was its own. Where would the superior have put the other weapon I had presented as evidence? Finally, I saw it. A flash of metal in the adjoining bedroom through the door I had seen the bishop emerge from so many times. I sprinted into the room and slammed it to the cabinet on the side of the room. The bedspread was askew, and there had clearly been a struggle in here whenever the beast first arrived. Yeah, okay, so... Clearly, they weren't in on... Or the soup, at least, wasn't in on it. I still think maybe the bishop is, but... As my hands gripped the sword's handle, I felt a surge of triumph. It was short-lived, however, as the monster followed me into the room and began hacking wildly at me. I did my best to deflect the blade, but each time the hot flames approached me, it took all of my strength not to flinch. Still, I defended myself with enough verve to be able to change the position, squeezing past the monster and sprinting through the flame toward the door. I fumbled with the heavy door and slipped through into the cold night air, coughing as it mingled with the smoke in my lungs. I wasn't sure what to do or where to go, and I did not have the luxury to deliberate because my pursuer was hot on my trail. My heart felt as if it could pop up as I flew out of the late superior's office. I could not stop. I had to keep moving. I had to get to the library. Those infernal shelves were my only hope. Up the stairs I went. Heavy footsteps followed behind me. Considered screaming for help at the top of the stairs, but what good would that do? By the time anyone arrived, this thing would have caught up with me, and it was just as likely to kill anyone who came along with me. No. I could deal with this myself. I had successfully avoided it before. There was a lesson here. No more salacious nighttime excursions. That was fair. I could adhere to that. I could live during the day and leave the Abbey alone at night. Message received. That's the takeaway, Hetty. I clambered up the stairs and plowed through the door to the library. The shelves. Please let me in. I collided with the wall. Fuck! I pounded my fist against the very real wall helplessly, but I could not vent my frustrations for long. I had to keep moving. But where on earth could I go? What could I do? I could see the beast now. Sure enough, it was the same creature that had attacked me and Flora. It had run into me in the sacristy. It strode toward me with big, lumbering steps. It carried the sword at its side. I had no choice but to run straight past it to the door once again. If only I could stop leading myself into rooms with one exit! God! I grimaced. I was good at getting myself into the same scrapes repeatedly. Fuck, why do I bother? I sprinted straight ahead and dove forward, sliding across the stone painfully and crawling beneath its legs to reach the landing once again. Pushed myself away from it by kicking against its metal boot. With your bare foot? Ow.
Yeah.
When I rose to my feet, I had to steady myself against the stone railing with my free hand. I turned around as I did so. I had to assess my next move. The beast turned, and then it did something very odd. I raised a gauntleted hand to its face, if it could indeed be called that, and gestured for me to stay quiet. I don't speak webbedings. I did not know what to make of this, but I knew that I was still in danger. I did not scream, not because I was told not to, but because I did not want to endanger anyone else. But I did run. I just had to keep moving. If I could stay alive, I could think of something. I just needed to keep moving. I ran back down the stairs and into the cloister. Braving the snowy grass with my bare legs, I tried to get away. I dared not turn around to see how close behind my pursuer was. The sound of its metal boots against the cobblestones was enough to keep me moving. I glanced toward the archway. Could I make it to the camp? It seemed irresponsible to bring this demon any closer to more people, but I had precious few other ideas. I was but one woman who knew nothing about swordplay. The builders at the very least had muscles and hammers. My lungs were filling and emptying with such totality I had no opportunity to scream. So when my shoulders were yanked backward and my legs flew out in front of me, I made no noise. My robe had been caught from behind. I could hear the threads buckling as my body struggled against the cloth. I let go of the sword as the cloak's buckle dug into my neck. It was flung far afield. I watched helplessly as it sailed away. Superior's old traveling cloak finally tore, and I fell into the snow, free from the beast's grip. I don't speak wingdings? Is there a difference? Are they the same? The creature loomed over me, blade in hand. Catherine? The monster shook its head. As the beast began to step toward me, I felt a surge of responsibility. I could not endanger the builders, the other sisters, or anybody else. Where would I run if the men could not bring this demon down? The village? They were stricken with curses already. Would I run until I fell into a ditch on the way to London? I'd set aside my duties in favor of simple debauchery. I was the reason things had gotten this dire. Man, Hedwig. Hedwig again with forgetting other people exist syndrome. I could repent later. But right then, right there, the only thing in the world that made sense to me was rising to the occasion in front of me. Selfishly, thoughtlessly, I allowed pride to animate me. What are you? The monster raised a gauntleted hand to its gnarled face to silence me once again. Tell me. Tell me? I will scream so loud the whole abbey will wake up. The builders, too. I was nude, bloodied, bruised, and shivering. I had nothing left to gamble with and no leverage against this beast other than the fact that it wanted my silence. English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? I cannot understand you. I just hear noise. The looming figure seemed to consider for a moment, and then slowly it raised its sword. I tensed up, but the beast held its other hand out to steady me. Now, is it speaking in a language Hedwig doesn't know?
Probably.
Or is it being muffled by the mask? And
Either or both.
It's just trying to express itself, but it's like, we really didn't think about talkability when we made the goat head mask, so... It turned the sword toward itself. At first I thought it meant to harm itself, but instead it seemed to be trying to cut something. The sword was far too long and unwieldy for this task, however. Apparently frustrated, the creature fell to its knees and placed the sword in front of me. What? It pulled its robe aside to reveal that under its heavy cloak it was wearing chainmail. Layered on top of this armor were leather straps. Slowly, I pointed to these straps and then to its own head. It indicated for me to pick up the sword. You want me to cut those free? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. Ow.
I bent down to pick up the blade, turning it in my hand slowly. The creature looked oddly pathetic, kneeling here. It held its rose open, gesturing eagerly at me. Continued speaking in a muffled and dark tongue. This close, I could sense a familiar sulfuric stench. I wonder if we go back and look at these, whether or not we could... Some of them don't work in the... Yeah, that's funny. I wonder if this is something we could decipher. Like, is this a... Oh, look, there's a repeated phrase right here, right? See these symbols? Those 6, 7, 8, 9... Those first handful of syllables there on each line are the same.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a substitution cipher that we could figure out.
I don't know. Maybe.
There's no... Who's up for some... I could not bring myself to look directly at this thing.
Okay, here's what's going to happen. Hedwig's going to kill this thing, and it's going to turn out to be Moira.
Yeah. And even out of the corner of my eye, there was nothing I could see that was worthy of pity. The creature's face was nothing but bone and burnt skin. There were no real eyes, nothing to look into and understand. It just looked evil, and I'd spent enough time allowing evil to manipulate me. This was all a trick, I thought to myself. I was being played with. Why was I entertaining the requests of a mad beast that had attacked me so many times before? What was there to gain from parlaying with a monster I could not understand? Quia non est veritas in eo, cum loquitur mendacium ex proprius loquitur, quia mendax est et pator ejus. I let out a mighty bellow as I could, the loudest sound of fury I could muster. I brought my blade down onto the monster's head. The horrid visage cracked open just like a barrel. Bone fragments fell into the snow. I pushed as hard as I could, and when I felt resistance, I began to saw back and forth. I had to be sure. I could not suffer this thing to live. I was not even sure that attacking it in this manner would kill it, but it seemed to me a better choice than going along with whatever little game it had planned for me. Eventually, I could saw no more. I tugged the blade out with a pop. The metal was soaked in blood. I expected the monster to fall, but it did not. It remained kneeling, its hands resting at its sides, its head slumped downward. Through the broken skull, I could see viscera. That's upsetting.
Yeah?
An eye bulging outward, a face cloven in two, a soul leaving its body through a gaping wound I had created. Even though mangled skin and bone, I recognized the poor creature. James.
James, I didn't predict that.
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God!
Oh, but I should have. As soon as James was like, Satan's letting me out of here, I gotta do his little things for him.
This is one of those little things?
And so have been the other times when this figure is around. That's how you get another figure around that isn't counted among the nuns.
Yep.
You free James for a bit, and... yeah.
Hell yeah!
Well, shit.
Hetty just straight up murdered someone. Oh, man. What do we make of this?
So James kills the superior. The bishop may
on
or may
the
not...
order of the prince.
Yep.
Right. Who we are soft guessing might be Moira.
The bishop may or may not be in on it.
The bishop definitely is in on it, right? If let's be clear here. If the bishop has no reason to step in and provide cover for, no, James is far gone from this place.
He does, though, because people believe this to be true. Right? Like, it's not like people didn't believe in magic and use it as a cover. People indeed believed that Satan could walk among them and do such acts. So there's two possibilities here. One is that he indeed believes all of that, as many people did, and in his status as a bishop is like, yeah, I know things about Satan and his works. I've heard about all this awful stuff, and I 100% believe that's what's happened here. The other is that he is indeed in on it, but...
I don't know. Given his kind of laissez-faire attitude toward the rest of his office, I'm more willing to bet that he is indeed looking for cover. And I think the idea was, now that someone had been properly fingered, to bring in the soup, to bring in Hetty, the people who had been looking into other alternatives, and take them out of the picture.
Wait, what?
I think Hedwig was obviously meant to die there, right?
Yeah, but no, explain the rest of it. How would that help? You would cause more murderers to not look into the true murder?
That's a good point. I don't know. Why would they bring Hetty there? I'm going to need some time to percolate on this. I have the shapes of something, but I need to kind of dial in and give it some time to percolate. One thing that's always been kind of iffy for me is it does seem like Hetty continues to create fanciful descriptions for things that don't necessarily line up with reality. She's been caught up on that many times. And given that's part of her story here in the future, I have to, is there a reason that needs to be the explanation she gives? Is there a reason that things have to be the work of a monster? Is there a truth or something that Hetty has to keep hidden, even in the retelling, even if it means inventing these very strange scenarios, just to make sure that something stays hidden? I am, of course, thinking about, a comparison to another mystery title where perhaps thinking about, why is it important? Not just the act of, tearing down the lies and finding what's beneath, but why are the lies important? Why do they exist in the first place? And I don't know. It's been rattling around in my brain. I kind of want to let the credits keep playing out. Sorry about it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a fucking great game. Oh, man. And now, of course, we're both sitting here just wondering whether or not there's going to be more post-credit stuff, right?
I feel like the expectation's been set up, so I'm
the
very much primed
has
for
been
it.
set here. We have been given, and also we've got kind of we've had kind of a cliffhanger on the future setting, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what goes on there.
The things.
Oh my God! Richard helped make the game.
The things that I am trying to piece together in my head is, one, is it in any way related that Catherine is up and about at that time? Maybe it's something. Maybe it's not. Maybe Catherine takes one final look at the painting, gathers her stuff, and flees in the middle of the night or something.
And wants to correct the one thing that
And then it just so happens that the disaster happens. So trying to put that together on the one hand. The other for me is putting together what is Richard's involvement. I'm not convinced that he has to be in on it, but he's certainly willing to go along with it there. So somebody's threatening him. Is just threatening his life good enough? Or do they have leverage? Is there something else going on here? No, and then I guess there's a third thing. The third thing is why. Why do people want the Superior dead? Why do people want Hedwig dead? It's...
Maybe the Superior was unwilling to go along with... Maybe the Superior was unwilling to go along with the full having Catherine take the blame for it.
Maybe so.
We don't know what happened after she summoned her, right?
Yeah.
So, could be maybe things didn't go as planned. And the soup wasn't cooperating. On second thought to myself, I really like the scene of Catherine with her painting.
Yeah, that's quite good.
There's one thing about it that I can't help but read into, going back and making sure to add the beauty mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but feel like there is a little bit of symbolism in that, right? To not be remembered by this beautified imaginary version of herself, but to be remembered as who she really was, flaws and all.
Yep.
And, why paint over those parts when, that they're just as much a part of her? Why show her in all these fine clothes and everything and just not make it the whole of who she is? But That's just a theory. Huge thank you to everyone and anyone who made the stock image recording or tool that was used in this production. You made this solo project. Yeah!
Aw.
Cece has been really open about like the fact that a lot of these like stock images and open use and open source stuff went into being able to make this a heavy air quotes solo project. And
which IMO is dope. I think
that's dope as hell.
Public access, public domain and open source media is a fantastic thing for reasons like this, and it's always cool to see what folks can do with them, to remix them into forms that are very different and more compelling than they would be alone.
Yeah, true. And now, I am here. Back where I belong. Everything that happened after that fateful sword stroke is a bit of a blur. I remember a few sisters and a few builders coming to inspect the commotion. I know the fire was put out. Believe that Angela is now our Mother Superior. And as far as I know, work continues apace on the clock tower. Right away, I knew I had to be put back into my cell, but the bishop was long gone. Perhaps he took a mule or horse from the builder's camp, or perhaps he simply walked down the hill. At any rate, there was nobody to perform a ceremony for me, so I am not an official anchoress. But it will do. I must apologize. If you were expecting some sort of revelation, this story is a chronicle of my failure, not the solving of any big mystery. The simple truth of the matter is this: I failed. Perhaps I was too slow. I was certainly too stupid. But above all else, I was not prepared to exist outside of this cell. I am a prickly thing, aren't I? I harm anything that comes my way, and I stick to people like a burr. I cannot control myself, not my rage, and certainly not my lust. At least now, I am content. Me and my erasable friend are happy in here. Hello. What's up? I have my books, and she has my body. At least here my insatiable desire for sin harms only myself. And who knows? I have a lot of time to make amends with myself. And with God. I doubt I shall ever see heaven, but one day I imagine I might crack open one of the Bibles on my shelf and try and find a way to fix myself. Until then, I am relieved to be caged once more. Flora is dead because of me. The Superior is dead because of me, and I allowed my demons to get the better of me once again. And I killed James. Even if he too was guilty of grave transgressions, he was asking me for help. I denied him a chance to repent. And now nobody will ever know the truth about Catherine with a C's death. There's a much grander mystery here, but the truth seemingly died with him. So, that is all. I've told you everything that I can. What are you doing? What no eye has seen.
The answer arc.
Ooh, baby! Hell yeah!
Hell yeah. Indeed.
Oh yeah.
No.
That one.
What is that?
That's Eustace and Adela hanging out with swords.
Interesting.
Surprise! Or maybe not. Of course you'd come rushing here as soon as you could, eh? Well, yeah, I know, we're predictable. I should have thought of a more creative hiding spot this time. Oh well. Next time I'll make you go through the entire soundtrack to find the one track that wasn't actually a part of the game. There's always the next go-round, right? Anyway, you won't be disappointed with what I have to show you this time. Or maybe you will. There's a chance you'll be a bit pissed, even. Sorry to say, but this is always how the story was going to go. The twist you've been dreading is right around the corner. If you got a problem with it, I suggest you take it up with... Oh, I shan't spoil it. Suffice to say, we've had many conversations about it. Conversations that I won. Me, ZC's more creative side. Villainous self-insert. Anyway, this shall be fun. And don't you worry. Everything that happens matters. I just think it's important to set reasonable expectations. Prosopography? Prosopography?
Indeed.
What does that mean?
I know that prosopagnosia, or however you say it, is being unable to recognize faces.
You're so
it's
right.
probably writing about faces or drawing faces. That would be my guess.
Prosopography. A description of a person's social... Wait, really? What? That's different. A description of a person's social and family connections, career, etc., or a collection of such descriptions.
Interesting, so I wasn't right.
But it did have to do with, like, face. Huh. That's interesting. Took a while. Oh, you're reading this. I don't have to do this.
It took a while to drive down into the valley.
Oh. Hold on. Okay, start from the top.
It took a while to drive down into the valley. The road going down the other side of the hill was even more fucked up than the one Jim had taken me up earlier. He wasn't driving this time. He sat in the back with me, watching the dead guy. Not sure why. He wasn't going anywhere. Jim and the others had loaded the body into the van, insisting that I not touch the corpse. They didn't want me involved. I appreciated the thought, I guess, except I was then told to get in the van anyway. That felt pretty involved. I wasn't sure if it was the body or the bumpy road that was making me queasy. Either way, I didn't feel good. Jim kept smiling at me reassuringly. It didn't work.
It's all right now. Nothing to worry about. God knows this ain't gonna be the only body buried out here.
Oh. Cool.
You didn't do nothing wrong, kid.
Am I gonna get in trouble?
Course not. Nobody saw us, nobody heard us.
That gunshot was pretty loud.
Cars backfire all the time around here. Ain't that right?
I forgot what voice we gave these
Yeah,
ones.
I don't remember at all. Yeah?
Buzzers farmers with guns up and down the hill here, scaring dogs away and whatnot. Would have heard sirens by now if anyone thought twice about it.
Okay.
First time seeing someone die.
No. A couple grandparents.
You didn't watch him get shot, though, I imagine.
I shook my head.
Well, I do apologize for that. Simmer us, though, and I wasn't about to put you in danger or legal trouble, so...
Oh, word?
He laughed. Oh, sorry.
He laughed.
Well, not his kind of danger or legal trouble.
So that guy was a spy?
Indeed, he was. Never liked him much. He was always kind of fishy.
What gave it away?
Like I said, funny feeling.
This wasn't really putting me at ease. So you shot a government agent who was already aware of whatever it is you're doing? Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm fucked. We're all fucked.
Language now, young lady. I'll take care of it. You have nothing to worry about. Here, have a fag. That's what I do whenever I see a dead body for the first time.
I would actually like to know how you're going to take care of it, Jim. I ain't saying she is right, but
I'll take care of it.
He looked kind of serious. A different kind of serious than when he had shot the guy, too. Before, he had still looked calm and cool. He looked darker now, like he'd just had some kind of revelation. So, what were you guys doing, anyway?
do not answer that. We are in enough trouble as it is.
Let's just say something important.
Uh-huh. She's already in trouble with the government. Don't make her a liability for us, too. Who's us?
Now, here's the thing, kid. I don't want to lie to you.
Okay.
So I shouldn't say nothing.
That's fair, I guess.
I mean, our guess was what, IRA?
Yeah. He was quiet for a bit and then grinned at me kind of mischievously.
You seem clever, kid. I'm sure you can figure it out. Jim. That's all I'm saying. She ain't stupid.
Could have fooled me. Jim looked as if he wanted to say something, then just smiled and tilted his head back. He napped the rest of the way down the hill. Not sure how, it was bumpy as shit for the last few minutes.
You get used to it.
Eventually the van came to a stop. We all got out, and the men began to deal with the body. Jim handed me a flashlight, torch, and pointed into the darkness.
Would you mind lighting the way for us, young lady? I know I said I didn't want you involved, but...
It's cool. I'll do it. Jesus!
Hiya!
Tatiana was there, wearing another new outfit.
Ta!
Or maybe just a new jacket. You scared the shit out of me. Where were you?
Had to make a phone call.
How did you get here?
I walked. Anyway, enough about me, darling. What happened to you?
Well, now who this?
What the fuck is going on tonight, eh?
Relax. She's a friend. I am tired of running into friends of yours.
Well, I'm a friend of yours, too.
She looked the two other men up and down. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I recognize her.
Of course you do. She's in charge of the whole thing, ain't that right?
Something like that. I hope you boys have been nice to Alex.
We started to walk and talk. Tatiana took the lead. The masked men carried the dead mole, and Jim carried a shovel. Or spade, whatever. Nice time to take a phone call. Who was it with? The president?
It was urgent, I promise you.
Where did you even make a call?
The visitor center, silly.
It was still open?
No, imagine that. No, I broke a window.
Yeah.
Just like I'll break your face if you keep asking questions. As long as we don't answer it, then the continuity doesn't have to contort around it, right?
Imagine that. She stopped suddenly and swept the ground in front of her with her boot.
Here is good.
What is that?
I said here is good.
We're taking orders from her now?
Easy. It ain't orders, it's suggestions, ain't that right?
Of course.
What is your name, anyway? No, it's not a fair question in this line of work.
Tatiana.
Russian?
This is getting a bit too international for my taste.
Bristol, actually.
Probably ain't a real name. Were you two born yesterday? Anyway, I trust her. Should be good enough. Now, shall we get this poor sod buried and get on with our damn lives?
Tatiana's lips curled into that demon smile she loved doing.
Here is good.
Jim broke ground first. It didn't take long for him to get tired, though. Hard to blame him. He was an older guy and the ground was pretty mushy. I offered to help, but he shook his head. He and his comrades began taking turns. Tatiana watched for a while, but got bored or something and turned away.
You boys mind if I smoke?
Yeah, go on.
She turned to me, jerking her head toward a spot a few feet or yards or whatever away.
You want one too?
Yeah, actually. Thanks.
Keep the lighter covered so you won't give us away, hmm?
They are clever, aren't they?
We stepped away. Tatiana offered me a cig, but even after a few puffs, I wasn't feeling much calmer.
Are you nervous, dear?
Duh.
Don't be. I've got it all figured out.
So you're a spy too? Or assassin or whatever?
I work in publishing, dear.
Uh-huh.
How long have you been smoking?
A few years?
Do your parents know?
Hell no.
Well, that explains it. You hold it funny. Like you're going to have to put it out at any minute.
I'm in college, you know.
It takes a long time to break a habit. They definitely know, by the way.
They've never said anything.
Of course they haven't. Why would they?
Smoking's bad for you.
Hasn't stopped you so far, though, has it?
I was really not in the mood for her bullshit.
I'm only trying to lighten the mood, dear. You have nothing to be worried about.
I just saw a guy get shot.
Oh, haven't we all? You're making memories.
I opened my mouth to respond, but saw something that shut me up quick. Headlights in the distance. Oh shit. Put these out.
Huh?
Car coming.
Corpse, corpse, corpse. Tatiana.
Keep digging.
She turned around. She looked as smug as ever.
This is a friend.
You have too many friends? I swear I saw Tatiana roll her eyes behind her bangs.
Huh.
She turned around to face the oncoming vehicle. It was a boxy off-roader. It bounced over the boggy terrain. It came to an awkward halt, nearly spraying me and Tatiana with mud. The door opened and I couldn't believe my eyes. Eustace?
Sorry, what's up?
Hello. Get in the car.
I didn't need to be asked twice, but I heard protests behind me.
What is going on? I called a ride for a young friend, so you don't have to worry about getting her home.
Probably shouldn't stay at my place again. Sorry to say.
Already thought of that. Told him to swing by and pick her up all things.
Did you now?
Hope that's all right. I'm sure Eustace was perfectly lovely to marry. He could be a bit prickly, but he knows when to be polite. Isn't that right, Eustace?
Sure. I mean, yeah. Your wife has to make sure to come in quietly.
Always do.
We really gotta move.
Were there police?
No, but the longer we stick around, the more suspicious this looks.
Right you are. Alex, now's the time to say goodbye to old Jim. Doubt you'll see each other again.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me stay with you, man.
Not at all.
He paused for a moment.
Sorry it all turned out like this, though.
Yeah, me too. Good luck with whatever it is you're doing, I think.
You'd probably approve. But for both our sakes, I think it best I not say.
Correct.
Take care, then.
Tatiana and Eustace got back into the car. Eustace. I hadn't even begun processing how weird it was seeing him here.
We're rolling it, all right? We're just put it to the side for now. We're rolling with it.
I turned to get into the back seat, but stopped. Weird as it sounds, I didn't feel good leaving Jim so soon. What was your son's name?
Was that now?
You mentioned having a son. What was his name? Could we, I don't know, get in touch?
I appreciate that, love, but I don't think that's a good idea. You know.
He nodded toward the grave and winked.
Wink.
Right.
It would have gotten along, I'm sure.
I think so. His dad was an interesting guy. Jim chuckled, waved, and then turned back toward his comrades. That was the last time I ever saw him. I got into the back seat and Eustace pulled us away.
That ended nicely, I thought. A little bit of sweet. Just how I like things.
He had the radio turned all the way up. It made it kind of hard to hear.
Shut up.
Aw, we haven't seen each other in so long. It's no way to talk to an old friend.
You two know each other?
I know. What are the odds? It seems like I know everyone.
This track is a bop.
Yeah. When you mentioned I had a friend who was researching Linbarrow, I had an inkling.
You are so full of shit.
I like the new look, by the way.
It's not a new look.
It's been a while since I last saw you, so...
I know how I look. Sometimes it's one way, sometimes it's another.
I like the uniform.
It's not a uniform.
Okay.
Listen, flattery's not gonna get you anywhere. I am not impressed with you. A dead son? Really?
I don't know what you mean.
Jim's son died?
Of course he did. Nice to see you, by the way.
Sure. Yeah, it's nice to see you too.
Jim's a folk healer motivated by tragedy.
It's trashy. It never happened.
Well, that's rich coming from you.
It didn't even come close to happening.
Still rich? I think it's great stuff. Anyway, we can talk about this later. We have so much else to catch up on. I had no idea Linbarrow was still on your mind after all these years.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Of course it was. It was a hard one to forget. No thanks to you.
No thanks to you, he says. Is he this grouchy in your college classes?
No.
Kinda.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't know. I like it. I sort of respect it.
She likes you.
Hey,
Jesus Christ. New topic, please.
ouch.
Okay. Why did you mess with my book?
What book?
None Left Alive.
That's not your book. It is a book somebody here wrote about Linbarrow.
Oh, Linbarrow.
Yeah. I gave it to Alex because I thought it might be a nice primer.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I gave it to Alex because I thought it might be a nice primer, but you deleted everything in it.
I did that ages ago. I got an internship at the publisher and swapped out the press. Mostly just to fuck with you, really. I've been following the rules. Mostly.
Really now?
And on hard.
I'm a little touched.
So you just never looked inside the test print. You knew it was rubbish.
It's not rubbish. The cover is so nice.
Speaking of following the rules, how come that?
Not in front of our guest. Are they Time Lords? Just real quick. Are they Time Lords? We did have a Doctor Whomst little drop earlier, right? Are they Time Lords? Not yet, at any rate.
I kept hearing insane shit that I wanted to jump in and ask about, but to be honest, I was still reeling from Eustace's reaction earlier. Jesus Christ? I knew it was a long shot, I guess, but shit. All I could do to fight the heartbreak was listen to their bickering.
I don't know that it was a Jesus Christ of, no, I'm not, I would never entertain that. More of a Jesus Christ of, like, now of all times.
Yeah, a Jesus Christ, Tatiana, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I wouldn't let you get that. I wouldn't let that one get you down, Alex. Like, ask at a better time when you're not driving away from someone burying a body.
Yep.
The cover is great, but you know everything on the inside is total bunk. You know that all these conspiracy theorists are completely wrong, right?
I think it's cute that you care this much. All this time and you're still clinging to your obsession with accuracy. I've never seen somebody quite so unable to enjoy their own fantasies.
I do not want to have this argument right now. I haven't budged, and it sounds like you haven't either.
I gave you all this time to reflect and you still won't admit what interests you about Linbarrow. My goodness.
Maybe I did admit it to someone. Maybe I just won't admit it to you.
All right, then.
We drove in silence for a while. At this point, we were already halfway back up the hill. I was very grateful to be on even the wobbliest dirt road after being shaken around off-road for so long.
You're at least sort of right about None Left Alive.
Don't start.
It's not as good as yours. I just think it makes an interesting point.
I said I didn't want to talk about this.
It doesn't actually make that many changes.
It made enough. I didn't like how it portrayed Catherine.
With a K?
Yeah, with a K.
Me just sitting over here feeling vindicated. Yeah, with a K. You have to admit the evidence is pretty compelling.
Anything can be made to look compelling when you're that far away from it. It's easy to stitch a handful of clues together. It's not so easy
Tatiana arched an eyebrow.
when you know that it's more complicated than that.
Fair enough. You know what I think is funny, though? It gets one really crazy detail just right.
I doubt that.
It does! In fact, it gets the detail right, which makes me right, by the way. If somebody here was able to piece it together,
Coincidence, I'm sure.
then this was always...
Eustace slammed the brakes hard. My head whipped into the seat in front of me.
Careful now. Honestly, you and your temper tantrums.
I don't want to talk about this while Alex is here. Okay? It's been ages since I last saw you, and I was really hoping that we wouldn't have to immediately leap back into it.
What is it?
Stop playing dumb. Just put a sock in it for the rest of the drive, all right? Is that okay?
Suit yourself, then.
We drove back down the other side of the hill toward the village in silence. I felt sick. I'd seen a guy get shot, and Tatiana had blown it for me with my crush.
I don't think that's what happened.
It was honestly a bit difficult to decide which was weighing on me more. Either way, being stuck in the car with the two of them arguing was making it so much worse.
I like the license plate, by the way.
Total coincidence, if you can believe it.
We did see a shot of the license plate earlier, and I wanted to look at it, and I'm
Oh,
like,
fuck.
it's
What
not
was it?
important. Fuck you. Okay, now I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. I can't.
We finally arrived in the village. Eustace stopped the car in front of the pub I had visited the night before.
Get out here and call her a taxi or something. I'm not driving you two all the way to Heathrow.
Me and Tatiana stepped out onto the curb. She helped me grab my suitcase from the back. Eustace fired the engine back up again, but Tatiana rapped her knuckles on the window politely.
What?
Park up and have a drink with us.
No.
Aw, don't be mean. I'm sorry we got off to a bad start. Come on, I'll pay.
Eustace thought for a moment, then rolled his eyes. The car pulled away. So, think you'll join us?
Yeah, come on, let's get a seat.
The pub was pretty much empty, same as last time. Our table was free again. We sat down. The mood was really low. Tatiana's smile was impervious, of course.
It's a defense mechanism. The moment I stop smiling, though, the realization of the world, all the lies I live, will come crashing down. Well, that's publishing business for you. Somebody's nose is going to get knocked out of a joint at some point.
Somebody got shot. I was shaking a little. How was I going to explain this to friends, family? I'm a staunch fuck talking to cops believer too, but I don't know.
He was a bad guy.
Okay, but that's still super illegal. We should not be talking about it in here illegal.
You're the one who brought it up. You think the landlord's a spy for MI6? Don't worry. I already thought of that, actually.
And?
It does stretch credulity a bit, don't you think?
I don't know. I guess so. But at this point, I'd believe anything.
Is that a promise?
She looked like she had just thought of something really funny. What are you talking about?
You packed the book, yeah?
I think so. I put it back in my suitcase this morning.
Take it out.
I didn't feel like arguing, so I unzipped the case and started feeling around until I had the book. Here.
Open it up, dearie.
It's gonna be blank. Well, mostly. He put a bunch of creepy text at the beginning.
Oh, and what did that say?
Don't.
A message for me. That's cute. Flip through toward the back.
I did.
Any pictures?
No. Wait, yes. Right at the end.
It feels like they're arguing over reality, but they have to make sure it's a detail the other one hasn't accounted for, so that way there's no contradictions made. You know what I mean? They can retcon anything into existence as long as even the most strained and credulous line of reasoning can lead it to be true. It's a very blue way of thinking, if you'll excuse the...
She grinned broadly.
I knew it. That had to be printed on a different machine. They don't normally put illustrations and whatnot in this format. That's true with paperback books. If you're getting color illustrations, you'll notice a lot of the time that they're in a separately bound section in the middle.
Yep.
right? And if there are pictures in it, they're usually just black and white. In a paperback book. Exceptions to that are really rare because it's generally not worth it to print full color for a paperback title, unless you're fucking House of Goddamn Leaves.
I held the book open to the page I'd seen the black shape on. Why is there a picture of Christopher Columbus in this book about English nuns? There was that demon smile again. I shivered.
Why, indeed?
What the fuck?
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.
Nun 53X.
Nun sex. That's so funny.
Really?
Yeah, wow.
Really? That's what we went back for?
I am so glad we did.
That's...
So, Eustace is a witch. Eustace really is practicing magic. Magic is real in this setting. Eustace is still alive and transmasked now.
Uh-huh.
And Tatiana is some sort of adversary who popped up somewhere along the way, and they're both doing their reality-bending duel about what happened.
So who's
at Linbarrow.
Tatiana then? What the fuck is this? Why is it Christopher Columbus?
Why the fuck is it Christopher Columbus? Every detail matters.
Every detail matters. Yeah, I get that, but why Chrissy C?
It's gonna kill me.
Why is there a picture of Christopher Columbus in this book about English nuns?
What was he doing in the 1480s?
That's a great question. What's... I'm not going to remember the date for good old Chrissy C here.
It is the 1480s, right? Or was it the 1430s?
I don't know, but he is vaguely contemporaneous, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why does it matter that fucking white people are going over to North America right now? Why does that matter? How does that tie into War of the Roses, if at all? Why?
Is it going to be something... Okay, here's a theory. Here's a serious theory. Is it going to be something about a detail in the story that can't be true because it was something that could only be done after the discovery of the New World? Like something that was brought back from the New World?
Ooh. So maybe one of our little anachronisms were actually meaningful?
Yeah.
I thought we were just being too hard on ZC with some of those, but should we be going back and actually paying attention to all those little bits where we're like, wait, was that anachronistic? That might be anachronistic. I thought we were just being sticks in the mud. Something anachronistic that could only have come from the New World. Interesting.
What he would have been doing around the time frame of this, assuming it's the 1480s like my brain thinks it is,
Yep.
is trading up and down the coasts of West Africa.
Okay. So he'd be back on this side of the globe
No, he'd still be on this side of the globe. He'd not have left.
Oh, he hadn't left yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Well,
He did that in 1492, which was after.
Well, I don't know what to make of that. That's... And also the fact that apparently Eustace is a Time Lord. Do I need to know anything about Dr. Whomst? God.
Yes, you do. We have to watch Dr. Whomst now.
Okay, start at season 1, episode 1. All right. We'll be over this real quick, right? British shows are known for their brevity. This won't take more than a few hours.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, man. Anyway, thanks for watching our playthrough of Volume 2, everyone. What the fuck? I think, as with the last episode, we will be doing a discussion episode here, and we'll try to be a bit more timely about it this time, especially since we just now finished.
Yep.
So for that, if you've got questions you'd like us to talk about, leave them in the comment section below for this episode. Leave them in our Discord. We have a channel for Misericorde where folks can talk about more stuff there. And in a little while, we'll come back and talk about some thoughts and theories on Volume 2. Thank you so much for being along here, everyone. We'll see you when we see you.
Peace.